You may start if you are, ready na.
Hello po, narinig po ba ako?
Yes, go.
Yes. Okay, so ang aming i-report po ngayon is about electronic configuration and quantum numbers. Next. Ang objectives is to identify the electronic configuration of a given electron, predict the set of quantum numbers of a given electron. Next. So, what is electron configuration and quantum numbers? Electronic configuration is the electron configuration distribution of electron of an atom or molecule in an atomic or molecular orbitals, while quantum numbers is the set of quantum numbers used to describe the position and energy of the electron in an atom. Next. So the first one is principal quantum number, or N. This tells us that the electron's energy level, which is also referred to as shell, and the orbital size, It is the main energy level and it has the value of 1, 2, 3. Next. So the next one is angular momentum quantum number, or I. Considered as the subshells of an electron energy levels, these represent the various shape of an orbital, also known as azimuthal quantum number. It has the value of 0 to n minus 1. It has the shapes of spherical, dumbbell, four-leaf clover, and flower. Next. Magnetic quantum number, or M or ML, tells us the orientation of an orbital around the nucleus. It has the value of -2 to +2. Next. The last one is spin quantum number, or S or MS. It is used to distinguish between two electrons in an orbital. Its function is to determine the direction of the spin or rotation. It has the value of -1/2 or +1/2. Next. So for the electron configuration, balik mo ng isang slide, Adrian. Thank you. For the electron configuration, we have the letters S, P, D, and F. S has the value of 2, P has the value of 6, and D has the value of 10, and F has the value of 14. Next. So, let's go to na kay Princess para po sa number 1.
Good morning, everyone. So, in letter A, we are tasked to write the electronic configuration and predict the set of quantum numbers of the last electron of the following. So, the first element is nickel, which has an atomic mass of 59 and atomic number of 28. So, para mabuhat or mabalaan nato ang iyang electronic configuration, all we need to do is gawin yung nasa previous na slide and starting sa 1s to the power of 2 since s can hold up to 2 electrons and 2s raised to the power of 2 and then 2p. Ang p can hold 6 electrons, so p raised to the 2p raised to the power of 6, then 3s raised to the power of 2, 3p 6, 4s raised to the power of 2, and 3d. D can hold 10 electron, pero ang atomic number ng element man tayo naga-base since it indicates the number of protons and electrons of an element. Pero mag-focus tayo sa electrons since ang number of electrons in the given element is 28 and adding all the exponent 2 plus 2 plus 6 is 10 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 is also 10. So we have 20 na and we need 8 more na lang. That's why it's 3d raised to the power of 8. So the electronic configuration of nickel is 1s raised to the power of 2, 2s raised to the power of 2, 2p raised to the power of 6, 3s raised to the power of 2, 3p raised to the power of 6, 4s raised to the power of 2, and 3d raised to the power of 8. As given in the instruction, we need to predict the set of quantum number of the last electron. As also given in the previous slides, the definition of quantum numbers are the set of numbers used to describe the position and energy of the electron in an atom. It is characterized by n, which tells the electron's energy level, L, which represents the various shape of the orbitals, M or ML tells us the orientation of an orbital around the nucleus, and lastly, S or MS, used to distinguish between two electrons in an orbital. So going back, the last electron is 3d raised to the power of 8. So n is equals to 3. Since mag-base tayo sa 3 na nasa 3d raised to the power of 8. For L, mag-base tayo sa letter D. Since we know pag S, ang L is equal to 0, pag P is, ang L is 1, and pag D is 2, and F is 3. Therefore, L in 3D8 is 2. So moving on sa M, since D has 5 orbitals and the 8 na exponent is nagland sa 0 na orbital, that is why 0 ang ML or ang M. And since the arrow kay nag-face siya downward, that is why S is equal to -1/2. Sa next slide. Next, same process lang din, and ang element is calcium, which has an atomic mass of 40 and atomic number of 20. After doing the process, we came up with 1s raised to the power of 2, 2s raised to the power of 2, 2p raised to the power of 6, 3s raised to the power of 2, 3p raised to the power of 6, and 4s raised to the power of 2.
Saka na po akong comment later ha. Wala?
And so for number 3, phosphorus is an element with atomic number 15. Atomic number represents the number of electrons and the number of protons in the nickel element. In writing the electron configuration for the phosphorus, the first 2 electrons will go in the first orbital since 1s can only hold 2 electrons. The next 2 electrons for phosphorus go in the 2s orbital. The next 6 electrons will go in the 2p orbital. The p orbital can only hold up to 6 electrons. We'll put 6 in the 2p orbital and then put the next 2 electrons in the 3s, then move to the 3p where we'll place the remaining 3 electrons. Then let's just add all the electrons to see if it is already equal to 15. Therefore, the phosphorus electron configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. Next is predicting the set of quantum number of the last electron. Since the last electrons is 3p3, for n, base lang sa 3, and for L, since p man, and we know if p ang L is equal to 1, that's why 1 ang nandyan. Next is M. Ang p has 3 orbitals, and the next exponent is 3, and it landed sa 1 na orbital. That's why M is equals to 1. And since the arrow is facing upward, therefore S is equals to positive 1/2. So chlorine is an element with atomic number 17. When we write the configuration, we'll put all the 17 electrons in orbital around the nucleus of the chlorine atom. In writing the electron configuration for chlorine, the first 2 electrons will go in the 1s orbital. Since 1s can only hold 2 electrons, the next 2 electrons for chlorine go in the 2s orbital. The next 6 electrons will go in the 2p orbital. The p orbital can only hold up to 6 electrons. We'll put 6 in the 2p orbital and then put the next 2 electrons in the 3s. Since 3s is now full, we'll move to the 3p where we'll place the remaining 5 electrons. So let's just add all the electrons to see if it is already equal to 17. Therefore, the chlorine electron configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So, predicting the set of quantum number of its last electron, the last electron is 3p5, so ang n is 3, and since p man ang L is equal to 1, for m, since p has 3 orbitals and the exponent is 5, it landed on 0 orbital, that's why m is equals to 0. Lastly is S, then the last arrow is facing downward, therefore S is equals to negative 1/2.
For number 5, the element is silver, which has atomic mass of 108 and atomic number of 47. So, repeat lang din sa process. And we came up with the electronic configuration of silver 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6, 5s2, and 4d9. So next, predicting the quantum numbers of the last electron. Since ang last is 4d9, so ang N is 4, ang L is, since D siya, and if D, ang L is equal to 2, so 2, then ang M is, since ang D has, marinig ako?
Sige, go.
Since ang D has 5 orbitals, so ang 9 nagland siya sa 1 na orbital, so M is equal to 1. Then since ang arrow kay facing downward, so S is equal to negative 1/2.
So for the number 6, in writing the electron configuration for sodium, the first 2 electrons will go in the 1s orbital. Since 1s can only hold 2 electrons, the next 2 electrons for sodium go in 2s orbital. The next 6 electrons will go in the 2p orbital. The p orbital can only hold up to 6 electrons. We'll put 6 in the 2p orbital and then put the remaining electron in the 3s. Then since it has a charge or it is an ion, first, unahon sa natog solve ang parent electron, then find the highest energy level and subtract until needed number of orbital is attained. So therefore, the sodium electron configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 3p6, 3s1. And for the quantum numbers, n is equals to 3, L is 0, m is equals to 0, and s is positive 1/2.
So let's go to the guide questions. It describes the following principle. Pauli's exclusion principle, it states that an atom molecule can't have the same quantum numbers. An orbital can only have 2 electrons and they have to spin in 2 different directions. One should be positive 1/2 or spin up, and the other one should be negative 1/2 or spin down. Next. The next one is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It states that there is an inherent uncertainty in the act of measuring a variable of a particle. In a quantum mechanics, no measurement can be taken at the same time. It was believed that it is supposed to be taken simultaneously. The next one is Aufbau building up principle. In this principle, it is stated that the ground state of an atom, the electron should be able to fill the shells of the lowest energy level before moving up to a shell with a bigger energy level. The last one is the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. It states that an electron configuration, the term with maximum multiplicity, falls in the lowest energy. The pointing up in PDF orbitals cannot occur when the orbitals don't contain an electron. In this principle, there have 2 rules. The first one is in a sublevel, each orbital is supposed to be occupied first with a single electron before adding another one. The second one is the electron present in a single occupied orbital should possess a identical spin before adding a spin that is opposite of that. Let's go to the conclusion.
So lastly, conclusion, our group were able to gain an understanding of this topic, which is the electronic configuration and quantum numbers. The general idea behind electron configuration is knowing the amount of electron in a nucleus or around the nucleus gives us the confidence that many of them are stable. This activity was able to give or allow us to learn about the different principles surrounding the electrons present in an atom of an element. And lastly, we were able to distinguish the difference of the 4 principles.
That ends the report po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Okay. Wait lang ha. Please go back to the first slide first. Okay lang din. Okay, wait lang. Itubagon lang dyan ako ng finance. Okay. So this activity is about electron configuration and quantum numbers. Okay. Kindly send the reason why hindi nakasali. Sige. Wait lang. Kita niyo nag-share screen. Adrian, I'm requesting a Okay na?
Okay na po, ma'am. Ano ko na po.
Want to control your screen. Okay, I'll be controlling your screen ha para dili ko magsigig-ingon og next slide. Okay, electron configuration and quantum numbers. Kasi class, you need to know this also. This one is also important na alam natin how are we going to locate the electrons in the atom. Remember last time, nag-discuss tayo ng subatomic particles, protons, electrons, and neutrons. Now, the electrons are responsible in the chemical reactions. Nangyayari yung chemical reactions dahil sa electrons. That is the reason why we have to know how are we going to predict this electron and saan sila located sa ating atom, and yung movement nila, how can we predict that also. So ito yung gamit ni quantum numbers and ni electron configuration. Okay? So wait lang ha. We have here the following objectives. This would mag-control eh. Wait lang. Gina-control mo, Adrian? Or ako ang next? Wala naman gina-control, no? Wala. Ay sa i-control ha, ako sa mag-control. Okay, murag lisod. Ayan. First is to identify, ang atong objectives ha, to identify the electronic configuration of a given electron and predict the sets of quantum numbers. So pag electron configuration class, that is actually referring to the distribution of our electrons sa ating atom. Paano sila na-distribute sa ating atom? So meron tayong tinatawag class na energy shell. So let me start with the electron configuration first. Let me go to the slide with the electron configuration. Ayan. So this one, oops. Wait. Ayan. So this is now our electron configuration format. All you need to do is to arrange them one by one. Meron tayong mga subshells class S, P, D, and F. Apat lang yan sila. S, P, D, and F. Pero, as you know, di ba, meron tayong 7 periods in the periodic table. Di ba, ang period yun yung horizontal na grouping sa periodic table. And kung titingnan nyo yung periodic table nyo dyan, meron tayong 7 na period, which means meron tayong 7 na energy shell. So that is the reason why if we place this electron subshells natin hanggang 7. Again, the reason, meron tayong 7 periods, so meron tayong 7 energy shell. So ang tandaan ninyo, ilista nyo sila one by one. You start with the S. So from 1S to 7S. Pero yung P class, magsa-start lang siya sa 2. Kasi yung first energy shell, S lang talaga ang subshell niya. Pero yung second na energy shell, aside from the S na subshell, meron din siyang P. So that is the reason why the P will start with the second energy level. While the D subshell, again, the D is a subshell, it will start on the third one, the third energy level. So sa pagdating sa third energy level, meron ka dyang S, P, and D. While the F will start with on the fourth one. Fourth one tayo mag-start sa F. So pababa na yan siya. As you can see, may mga naka-green part dyan. Ito yung mga reserved natin na mga energy shell. Kasi so far, yung mga nadidiscover na mga elements, hanggang dito pa lang tayo, I think, sa 7P. Okay, now the next thing that you need to take note about the electron configuration is that one subshell, again, one subshell can actually accommodate 2 electrons. So for S, kasi meron siyang isang orbital. Sorry, this should be orbital. So ang isang orbital, meron tayong dalawang electrons. So sa S na subshell, meron siyang isang orbital, kaya dalawang electrons lang talaga ang kaya niyang ma-accommodate. Pero sa P na subshell class, meron yan siyang tatlong orbitals. So tatlong orbitals, bawat isa sa kanila can accommodate 2 electrons. So 3 times 2, this is a total of 6. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now for the third one, SPD, the D subshell class has 5 orbitals. So which means tigda dalawang electron each orbital, 5 times 2, a total of 10. And then lastly, we have DF. For DF, meron siyang 7 orbitals, which means kaya niyang mag-accommodate ng a total of 14 electrons. So yan ha, kung tatanungin kayo ilang orbital ang nasa S subshell, isa lang. Pero kung ang tanong is how many electrons can be accommodated in one orbital for the S subshell, it's only 2. Okay? 2. Ito 6. Bakit? Kasi tatlo ang orbital niya. Tigda dalawa kada orbital. Okay? Now, let's have an example for the electron configuration. Again, this one is the distribution of electrons sa atoms natin. Paano ba sila na-distribute? Sa energy level and sa mga subshells nila and orbital. Let's start with hydrogen. Look at hydrogen. If you look at your periodic table class, si hydrogen ang kanyang atomic number ay 1 and then ang atomic mass niya ay 1 din. Now, ano ang titingnan natin? Ang atomic number ba or ang atomic mass? Syempre si atomic number. Please take note ha, ang gagawa natin ng electron configuration ay si atomic number. Bakit? Kasi in a neutral electron, remember the atomic number represents the number of protons. Pero pag wala siyang charge, the number of protons is actually equal to the number of electrons. So kaya atomic number. Ang atomic mass kasi, if you can still remember the atomic mass, it represents the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So you cannot see electrons there, thus you cannot use atomic mass for this. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Always use the atomic number to predict the electron configuration of our elements. So for hydrogen class, kung titingnan natin, ang kanyang atomic number ay 1, which means meron lang talaga siyang isang electron. Isa lang talaga ang electron niya. Now, how are you going to distribute that one sa kanyang energy shell? Siyempre, magsa-start ka. Meron lang siyang isang energy level and that is 1. Kaya nga si hydrogen ay located sa period number 1. And then, for period number 1, isang subshell lang dyan. S lang talaga. Okay? S lang talaga ang subshell ni period number 1. Now, if i-fill in mo yung electron niya, isang electron lang yan. So, kahit na class na dalawang electrons ang kayang i-accommodate ni S subshell, pero isa lang naman talaga ang electron ni hydrogen, so ang kanyang electron configuration ay 1s1. Okay? 1s1. This is a number 1, a small letter S, and itong 1 na ito ay superscript niya. Nasa taas ha, nasa taas nilalagay si 1. Questions for the electron?
Ma'am, lag ka kanina, ma'am. Like, kapilit-pilit.
Wait lang. Ito. Sinasad. Okay. Again, asa ba ko nga part naglag? Again, ang gamiton ang atomic number. Tapos one atomic number means si hydrogen may isang electron lang din. So ganito yung inyong susundin class. You always start with 1s. So si 1s can accommodate at least 2 electrons. Pero since 1 lang naman talaga ang electron ni hydrogen, so stop ka na dyan. Hanggang 1s1 ka lang talaga. So stop na. Pero kung may kadugtong pa siya, that's the time na susundin mo itong pagpasunod 1s, tapos 2s, just follow the arrow. After 2s, balik ka sa 2p, and then 3s, and then after the 3s, dito ka na naman sa 3p, papuntang 4s. Ganyan yung pag-follow ng ating electron configuration para mas madali ang life sa paggawa ng electron configuration. Please do not follow what is written in your periodic table because sometimes there are periodic tables na hindi tama yung kanilang electron configuration, or there are periodic tables na ang ginagawa is nag-shortcut ng electron configuration. Sino-shortcut nila. So ito yung ating full na electron configuration talaga. Susundin natin itong pagkasunod-sunod ng mga subshells ng ating atom. Now for helium on the screen, as you can see, helium actually is 2 and 4. So 2 ang kanyang atomic number, 4 ang kanyang atomic weight, pero again, atomic number yung ating susundin. So ang meaning niyan, si helium ay may 2 electrons. And if you make that electron configuration, syempre you will start with 1s, but since s can accommodate 2 electrons, so you just write 2 here. And that's it. That's the difference now between hydrogen and helium. Hydrogen has 1 electron, so its electron configuration is 1s1, but for helium it's 1s2 kasi meron siyang 2 electrons. Questions, class, about this? Wala. We will answer later the given para ma-practice natin yung electron configuration. But let's move on to the quantum numbers. Si quantum numbers class, ginagamit ito ng mga scientists and chemists to locate gihapon the electrons in the atoms. So yun pa rin yung sobrahan. Yun pa rin ang gamit ni quantum numbers. I-describe natin yung position ng electrons at the same time yung energy nila sa isang atoms. So meron tayong 4 sets of quantum numbers. We have the first one, the principal quantum number. Ang symbol na ginagamit natin for this is small letter n. Okay, small letter n. Now ano ba ang nire-represent ni principal quantum number? Itong principal quantum number represents the main energy level occupied by the electron. So main energy level or yung shell na tinatawag. So nire-represent niya din yung size ng ating electron. So for example, if this one is hydrogen, if this is the atom of hydrogen, meron siyang nucleus sa gitna, 'di ba? 1s1 yun kanina ang ating electron configuration for hydrogen. Ang meaning niya, class, ang electron ni hydrogen ay nag-occupy lang ng isang energy level. So isa lang talaga kasi 1. This will give you the principal quantum number. So n here is equal to 1. That's the main energy level being occupied by the electron. So ang values nito, class, for principal quantum number are positive integers. Most of the time, it's between 1 to 7. Because remember, sa periodic table, meron tayong 7 na period. So again, nagre-represent yan ng energy level. So yun yung principal quantum number natin. That's the first one. Now, how about the second one? The second one is the angular momentum quantum number, or that's the L. Actually, it's not really written as like that, but this is actually more of pinakatay na L. So yan talaga yung, or lambda, yan yung kanyang, not the lambda, but I forgot how do you call this. But that is actually the L na marag pinakatay. Muna siyang symbol ni angular quantum number. Other name for angular quantum number is azimuthal quantum number. Okay? Now, ano naman ang nire-represent ni angular quantum number? Si principal quantum number kanina, it's the main energy shell or main energy level or shell. This time naman, si angular quantum number represents the subshell. Okay? The subshell or the subshells of the electron energy level shells. So, kung subshells ang nire-represent niya, most likely, by the way, this one represents the size of the atom. This one naman represents the shape. Again, represents the shape of the orbital. So, meron tayong 4 na subshell, S, P, D, and F. Yan yung 4 natin na subshell class. And isa-isa sila, meron silang mga numbers na nagre-represent for them. So pasunod lang din yan. You'll start with 0, 1, 2, and 3. And paano mo siya malalaman? This will be identified sa last electronic configuration. For hydrogen, this is 1,1. Ang kanyang electronic configuration is 1s1. Take note class na ang n niya is equal to 1. Bakit? Kasi ito lang naman yung pinakamalaki niya na energy level na na-occupy. Pero kung tatanungin kayo, what naman is the angular momentum quantum number? It is S here, isa lang naman siya, pero kung marami yung yung electron configuration, yung pinaka-last ha, ang titingnan, S ito, so ano ba yung number ng S? It's 0. So the angular quantum number here, again, is 0. Okay, that's how you know the angular momentum quantum number. And since 0 yan siya, it means S spherical. Meaning kung ito yung nucleus ng atom, ang orbital ni hydrogen ay spherical. Okay? Spherical siya. So, parang bilog lang din. And dyan mo makikita yung isang electron niya. So, D is dumbbell. Parang dumbbell. I believe you know what dumbbell is. So, like this one. Ayan. So, nga na ang shape sa iyahang orbital kung ang iyahang last na electron configuration is a D. Now, for the D, this is S, this is P, D, sorry, this is S, this is P. Ang D naman is a 4-leaf clover. Kinsay nakaabot pa diri sa siniskwela. Ay, wait lang ha. Excuse me sa. Kailang dyan. So if nakaabot pa kayo ng siniskwela class, remember the siniskwela has this one. Nga nga drawing. It's actually the 4-leaf clover. And kung nakita ninyo na siya nagdagandagan din na something, that was actually the electron. So this one is actually the 4-leaf clover, that is the D subshell. And for the last one, the F subshell is ang shape niyan ay flower. So, parang flower lang din. Most likely, it's 8 actually, 8 kabuok na murag petals. So, again, the subshells will give you the shape of the orbitals ng ating electrons, and these are the numbers representing each of the orbitals. Questions so far? Anyone? Sino ang confused for this one? Wala pa. Ato siyang ano sa mga examples later. Mag-move on sa ikatatlo na quantum number. Wait lang. Hindi lang ako na-reason ang sa PICAS. Okay. Let's have the third one. The third one is called magnetic quantum number that is represented by M or ML. Okay? So, paano naman si magnetic quantum number? It actually tells us the orientation of an orbital around the nucleus. So, this is more of the orientation. Ganito. Di ba sabi ko kanina, si S merong isang orbital. So, kung i-draw natin, gagamit tayo ng box. So, this will be one orbital only. For the P subshell, meron siyang tatlong orbital. Nagputol-putol ko. Can I turn off my cam? Ready ko magputol-putol. Okay. Ayan. Meron siyang tatlong orbitals. So, magdodraw tayo class ng tatlong box. Okay? And then, si D ay merong 5 orbitals. So, you have there 1, 2, 3, sorry, wala na sila nagpantay, 4, and 5. And lastly, si F naman ay may 7 na orbitals. So, 7 ng boxes. And sabi ko kanina, di ba, bawat orbitals can accommodate 2 electrons. So, dito mo makikita yung orientation ni magnetic quantum number. This is still for hydrogen. So, 1, because isang energy level lang talaga yung kanyang na-occupy. This 0 denotes that it occupies the S subshell. And then, kung magnetic quantum number naman class ang tatanungin, since S lang naman talaga, dito ka lang din magdodraw. So, isang electron lang, so ma-feel niya isang electron lang talaga. Now, paano ang numbers nito? Take note that you will always start with a 0. So, automatic kasi wala ka ng ibang makikita na box there for the S subshell, automatic the M here is 0. But if ang last niya na electron configuration ay either P, D, or F, this is how you predict the number. Always start with 0 class at the center. Going to the right, you write positive, and going to the left, it's negative. It is also true for D. So this is 0, positive 1, positive 2. On the left side, negative 1, negative 2. Kung saan nyo nilagay yung last electron, that will be the magnetic quantum number. So ito din, dito ka sa 0 mag-start, sa center, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. This time, negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. So ito, wala ka ng ibang lalagyan there, 0 lang talaga. And for us to be uniform, di ba, partner sila kasi 2 electron lang ang ma-accommodate ng isang orbital. Always start with an electron that spins going up. Okay, going upward class. Always start. Kaya ang nilagay ko dyan, going upward na spin. Para sa ating spin quantum number, which is the last quantum number, this one. Ayan, this is our spin quantum number. This will now determine the direction of the spin, kung asa padulong ang atuang electron, kasi they are constantly in motion. So kung ang spin niya, paglagay mo first electron niya pataas, so pag pataas class, automatic ang number na gagamitin natin dito ay positive. So most of the time, gagamit tayo ng positive 1/2. Pero actually, pwede kang gumamit ng 1, 2 as long as positive. Okay? Pero kung ang electron class na dinraw mo, like sa helium, di ba si helium is 4, 2, and ang kanyang electron configuration ay 1s2. So maglalagay ka ngayon ng 2 electron. So ipapartner mo siya. Now, ang last electron na sinulat mo ay going down. So if the hydrogen is positive 1/2 ang kanyang spin, si helium naman ang kanyang spin, quantum number ay negative 1/2. Okay? That is how you distinguish the different sets of the quantum numbers. Questions so far? Anything na hindi naintindihan for this? Again, location lang ito ng ating mga electrons, ha? Wait lang, let me delete the writings on the screen. Move this now. Okay, can we take a 5-minute break lang? CR break and also water break before natin i-check whether tama yung mga sagot ng reporters here or not. Okay, be back after 5 minutes class. Let us continue class. Are you now here? I control this. Can you react? I cannot see. I can't see anything. Screen, why? Can you hear me? Marinig ako?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. There is really a problem with the internet connection today. Why? But anyway, let us start with number 1. I will not give a quiz today, ha. The remaining time will be utilized para matapos nyo yung experiment 1. Okay? So tomorrow na tayo mag-quiz nito so that you can study also. Sige, the first one, the given is nickel 2859. As you can see, most of the time, the atomic number is smaller compared to the atomic mass. So para dili mo maglibog class, pag magbuhat mo og electron configuration, please use the lesser number, the 28. Yun yung gagawa natin ng electron configuration. So let's write the electron configuration here para may guide tayo. So kung magsusulat kayo, if you don't have your periodic table, you just write 1s, pababa class, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. And then remember, the P will start with that second energy shell. And then pababa na din ito. 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p, 7p. And then for the D, it starts with the third energy level. So you start here. Ayan. And lastly, DF will start here. 5, sorry. 5 kung sulat. This one is 4F. 4F, 5F, 6F, 7F. And then yung arrow natin looks like this. So we will start here, syempre. And then we will have it here. This one. And then this one. Nalibat ko ha. Please check if wala ba ko nalibat sa akong arrow nga gibutang. And then last, ito dito. So yan yung pagpasunod natin sa ating electron configuration. Now, our goal is the atomic number, which is 28. So we will start with 1s, and then take note, ilang electrons ang sa S? Diba? Syempre 2 kasi isang orbital lang siya. After that, you have the 2s. So you also write 2s2. Next will be the 2p. So 2p, the p can hold 6 electrons, total of 6 electrons. And then let's go back with s. So 3s2. And then after that, we have the 3p. So for the 3p, again, that's 6 again. And after that, we have the 4s2. Ilan na siya? 10, 20. So ilan ang goal natin? 8. So what's the next one? After 4s, we'll have the 3d. Remember that the d can accommodate 10 electrons, but we only need 8 na lang kasi 20 na ito. So this is class 3d, 8. So this one here is correct. So I hope yung submission nyo din doon sa Schoology has this answer. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and 3d8. That's the electron configuration. Now let's move on. You can ask question ha if you are confused about something. Please unmute na lang the mic. I cannot see the chat here. I don't know what's happening to my screen. I cannot see the chat. So again, pa-unmute na lang if you have questions. Now let's check whether these quantum numbers here are correct. Now for the first one, the n. N is the principal quantum number and it represents the main energy shell na na-occupy ng ating electron. And how will you know that? If you have this long of an electron configuration, the largest number there will be the main energy shell or the principal quantum number. It doesn't matter kung nasa gitna siya or nasa huli siya. Basta siya yung pinakamalaking number, yan yung magiging N. So if you look at that, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, take note na kahit 3 ang ending niya, nakapasok na siya class sa 4th energy level. Again, nakapasok na siya. Kaya nga kung titingnan ninyo sa periodic table class, si nickel ay makikita sa 4th period. Paki-check, si nickel ay nasa period number 4 kasi meron na siyang electrons na pumasok sa 4th main or 4th energy shell. Kaya ang answer dito, class, is 4. Okay? So take note. This is 4, ha? Questions? Questions, class, about this? Again, it doesn't matter kung nasa gitna siya or nasa huli siya. Basta siya yung pinakamalaking number, that will be the principal quantum number. So the correct answer here is 4. So kung class, nagduha-duha mo kung 4 gyud ba ang principal quantum number sa isa ka element, look at the periodic table. Kung asa siya nga period na bilong, mao na iyahang principal quantum number. Okay, kay mao pud na iyahang period, class pag moingon kag principal quantum number. Next, let's have the azimuthal. Now for the azimuthal, the magnetic, and the spin, ang ating titingnan lang is the last configuration. Again, this is for the azimuthal, the magnetic, and the spin. Si principal quantum number lang ang hindi tumitingin sa last configuration. So for the last configuration, it's 3d8. And remember that the azimuthal quantum number refers to the subshell, S, P, D, F. So meron silang number na nagre-represent sa kanila. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now this is D. The last one here is D. So, ano yan? Ang number for D is 2. So, ang azimuthal quantum number here, class, is 2. Okay? Questions? Questions, anyone? Ganun, 1 man siya. Let us check everything. Okay, so tama inyong electron configuration, but the problem now is the principal quantum number and the magnetic quantum number. Now, the azimuthal, sorry, and the principal. So let's try the magnetic. Let's see if that is correct. Now, magnetic quantum number is for the orientation. Titingnan nyo pa rin yung last na configuration, class. It's a D. Again, it's a D class. So, di ba ang D, ilan nga yung kanyang sulat natin dito. This is for the orbital, ha, kung ilang orbital meron siya. Ito merong isa, ito merong 3. Ang itong number na ito, this is for the azimuthal. Do not forget that. Yes, Jemuel?
5 orbital po sa D.
D. Okay, yeah. Yes. And then sa F is 7. Okay. So kung titingnan natin, the last configuration here is the D. So ang idodraw natin, class, is 5 orbital. 5 orbital. Kasi it's a D. Tapos, ang gagawin natin, locate natin yung mga numbers nila. Di ba sabi ko, you'll start with 0, and then on the right, positive. On the left, negative. Okay? And then, ang gagawin natin to determine the magnetic quantum number is if i-fill in natin itong 8 na electrons na ito sa bawat orbital. And according kay Hund's rule, define nyo yun kanina, according kay Hund's rule, the electrons will be filled singly first before pairing up. Isa-isa muna bawat orbital before mo sila i-pair. So kung 8 yan, let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's the time mag-pair ka, pero going down na siya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, tatlo na lang. So, we have here 6, 7, and 8. So, kung saan ka last naglagay ng electron class, kung saan yung pinaka-last, saan ba yung pinaka-last natin? Diba ito? This one is our last electron. Yun yung magiging magnetic quantum number mo. And since nasa 0 siya, the magnetic quantum number is 0. That's how you know. Okay? So, this is correct. This is correct, has 0. Now, for the spin will just determine kung pataas or pababa yung last electron mo. The last electron here is going down. So, pag going down siya, it should be negative. So, negative 1/2. So, this is also correct. So, yung problema nyo lang for number 1 is the principal quantum number and the azimuthal or the angular quantum number. Questions? Questions, everyone? Or clarification for this? I hope nakuha nyo kung paano siya ginawa. Let's try the next one. I-check nyo din yung submissions nyo kung tama ba yung nalagay nyo doon. Let me delete this first. I will not delete the other drawing kasi. Ready tayo mag-ulit-ulit. Okay. So, let's move on to number 2. Ay, magpag-chat ha. Wala kang makita nga chat. I don't know what's happening to my screen. It's maybe because I have problem with my connection. But if you have questions, kindly unmute na lang. Kaya madunggan ka mo, pero dili na ko makita. Okay, so for the next one, we have here the calcium. By the way, before I forget, let's go back here. Before I forget, I told you a while ago the N is 4, so that nickel is located in period number 4 in the periodic table. And the angular quantum number here was 1, which means D siya. And it is located at the center, meaning it's a transition metal. So that's how I know, class, kung saan nakikita si element sa periodic table kasi naka-arrange yung periodic table natin, class. Ganito, di ba? This is how the periodic table looks like. Sorry lang, dili kayo pantay ang pagka-drawing kasi I cannot control my pen. Pero take note, class, na meron tayong dalawa dito, group 1A and 2A. Ito yung mga elements na ang ending nila ay S. So, ang elements lahat na nasa group 1A, ang ending ng kanilang mga electron configuration ay S1. Tapos, 1S1 kung nasa period 1 siya, kung nasa period 2, 2S1. Pero ang group 2A, ito siya, magsa-start tayo sa 2, so dito naman 2S2. Okay? Except for helium though. Pero the rest, dito naman, kung bilangin nyo from boron hanggang noble gases class, 6 elements yan. Bakit 6 elements? Kasi silang lahat nag-end sa P. So si boron will end with P1 and then pasunod na yan, the noble gases end with P6. Now, kung titingnan nyo yung sa gitna, they are actually the D. The D, silang lahat, D yung ending ng kanilang electron configuration. So, 10 yan sila lahat, class. So, from D1 to D10. Remember, the D has 5 orbitals, so it can accommodate up to 10 electrons. And yung nasa baba, which I cannot draw anymore because I have limited space, the actinide and the lanthanide series are the F. Their ending for the electron configuration is F. Most likely, it's F14. Meron lang merong periodic table na binaba yung dalawang elements, kaya naging 15 sila dyan. Pero actually, 14 lang sila lahat for the actinide and the lanthanide series. That's how you locate the elements in the periodic table. And it's actually amazing how the scientists have arranged the elements na they have actually yung electrons nila is sakto lang din kung saan sila nakalagay sa periodic table. Yung electrons nila, yung arrangement ng kanilang electrons, saktong-sakto sa pagkagawa ng electron configuration. It's amazing how God created these elements, and it's amazing how these people have discovered these things. Okay? Now, let's start with calcium again. Our goal is 20. Definitely it's 20 because we will be looking into the electrons, and that is represented by the atomic number. So our goal again is 20. So let's start with 1s2 and then 2s2, 2p6, and then 3s2. Just follow this arrow. After the 3s2, you go back with the 3p. So 3p6. After that, we have the 4s2. Let's count. This is 10. Okay, this is 20. 20 already. So this is the electron configuration now of calcium. So let's check 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2. Do not forget that this one is a superscript. So this is correct. Now, how about the principal quantum number? I told you that you have to locate the largest number here. You don't add, you don't add. Kung dalawa silang 3, do not add. Just write the number. So this one is the largest. So definitely this is 4. Now for the angular quantum number, the ending, let's start with the ending here. It's S, and S is 0. So this is automatically 0. So both of your answers here are correct. Now, what's next? For the magnetic quantum number, the S class only has 1 orbital, and this is automatically 0. But how many electrons are this? We have 2 electrons on the last configuration. So you have 1 and 2. So this is automatically 0. As you can see here, you have no choice for the S. But for the spin, since the last electron is going down, so this is -1/2. So for number 2, you got the correct answers for everything. Questions? Any question here? Therefore, class, if I look at the configuration and the principal quantum number, I can actually locate where calcium is I can actually predict where calcium is located in the periodic table. So this is 4. So nasa 4th, ano siya? Nasa 4th na period. And since the ending is S2, if this is S1, this is S2, calcium is located here. So that's how you locate the elements in the periodic table just by looking at the electron configuration and even the quantum numbers. Okay? Walay pangutana? I hope nasabtan ha, kasi nabutaan niya ito ang quantum numbers and our electron configuration. Kasi natulog na mo din ha, kay murag lami na itulog. Or naniudto na mo diha. It's okay if you want to eat. Kung nagutom na gyud kay udto na, no problem. You can just eat there. As long as you are still listening to the discussion para dili mo mawala aning quantum numbers and electron configuration. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is phosphorus. So this is phosphorus 3115. Again, we will be using this number for the electron configuration. Always use the atomic number. So our goal is 15. Let's start with 1s. Always start with 1s2, 2s2, what's next? 2p6, 3s2, pila na siya? 10, 12, tatlo na lang kulang. After 3s2, it's 3p. It's 3p pero tatlo na lang again ang kulang. So no need to write 6 ha. 3p3 na lang talaga siya. So this one is correct. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. Now, for the principal quantum number, pinakamalaking number sa kanila, 3. Hindi mo i-add ha, kahit dalawa yan siya dyan, 3s2, 3p6. But ang pinakamalaki lang talaga, 3. Now, BL. Starting with the angular quantum number, you will be looking at the last electron configuration. So this is, what is that? P. P, the
One
number is 1. Okay, very good. And then for the magnetic quantum number, how many orbitals do we have for P? Tatlo. Very good. So tatlo, 1, 2, and 3. You place numbers starting 0 sa gitna, positive 1 and negative 1. Let's check this pala. And then let's fill in. How many electrons is that? Tatlo. Tatlo yung i-fill in natin. Hund's rule, put them singly first before pairing up. So isa-isa muna. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Kung saan ka nag-end, class, yun yung magiging magnetic quantum number mo. Saan tayo nag-end? Nag-end tayo here. This one. This is our ending here. So which means the magnetic quantum number is positive 1. That's the number for this orbital. And for the spin, it's going up. So this is positive 1/2. So these are all correct. Ito lang mo sa number 1 na sabit. Pero the rest, it's okay. Number 3 is okay. Questions for number 3? Wala. I hope nagkasinabot dyan tani ato ang electron configuration and the sets of quantum numbers. Para dili mo maglisod sa inyong chem. Medyo, ang uban, there are really students na nag-struggle sa chemistry. But let's be patient. You can ask questions if you are confused about something. Okay, the next one will be for the chlorine. Wait. Phosphorus class, what was that again? Let me just use the electron configuration. If we draw the periodic table, I don't have a periodic table here. If we draw the periodic table class, this one, and I would like to locate phosphorus. It's 3 here, so definitely it's on period number 3. So it's on period number 3. 1, 2, 3. So this one, and then 3p3. If this is boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, helium. This is the second period here. This is the first period. So this is third period here. The phosphorus is found here below the nitrogen. That's how you locate an element just by looking at the electron configuration. Nasa third period siya. And then P3, which means nasa side siya nito. This one is the P side. And 3 man. So third element from boron. Sa baba ni nitrogen kasi nitrogen is on the second energy level. That's how class you locate an element. Even if wala kang periodic table dyan na hinahawakan. Okay? When I took the board exam for pharmacy, I remember drawing a periodic table. Drawing a periodic table in my questionnaire. I cannot remember the question, but I can remember drawing a periodic table. Sa board exam kasi, you are not allowed to bring your periodic table. But I don't think you have your chemistry exam in the medtech na board exam. Kasi sa pharma, we have a lot of chemistry, but we are not allowed to bring the periodic table. So we are actually compelled to memorize the periodic table. Now, number 4, chlorine. For chlorine, our goal is 17. Let us check if this is correct. So we have 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. This is already 12. I need 5. What's next? 3s2 after the 3p. So 3p, 5. Kulang na lang kasi siya ng 5 and p can accommodate 6. So this is correct. Okay? This one is correct. Now for the principal quantum number, the largest number here is 3. So definitely it's 3. So this is correct also. For the angular or azimuthal quantum number, the ending is P. So for P, the number that represents P is 1. Magnetic quantum number, P has 3 orbitals. So you draw 3 orbitals here. You start with 0 here at the center, +1 and -1. And we have to fill in 5 electrons. So again, isa-isa muna bago mag-pair. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one will be written here sa 5. Ay, ang 5, ang 5th electron, it will be on the 0. So magnetic quantum number is 0. So this is correct also. And the spin quantum number, it's going down. The last electron is going down. So this is -1/2. So this is also correct. Okay? Ayan, that's how you predict the electron configuration and the quantum numbers. And if you locate chlorine in the periodic table, chlorine belongs to the 3rd period. So if you have helium and then, wait lang. And then you have fluorine here. This is the 2nd one. This is the 1st energy level. So chlorine is here sa baba ni fluorine kasi boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th group here. P5 yung ending nila and then nasa 3rd energy level siya. So chlorine is found here after sa fluorine. So you can still locate the elements even if you don't have a periodic table. So parehas ako, wala dyan ko periodic table diri. I don't have a periodic table. Sometimes I just look at sa Google for the periodic table. Okay, let's move on. I think we are almost done or napa ba? This one, how about the silver? You have to be patient here because for silver, medyo malaki-laking number ito. Not the 108 ha, but the 47. So you have to be good in addition for this para alam mo kung mag-end ka na ba or hindi. So let's try. Medyo mataas. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10. Wait lang. 3d10. And then 4p6, let me write sa baba na lang, 5s2, 4d, wait, 10, 20, 30, 36, 38. 38, pila ganini? 47. So 47 minus 38 is 9. So yes, kaya pa siya ma-accommodate ni 4d, kay 10 man ang iyahang kaya. So 4d9 lang. Ano 4d10 ni? Let me check ha. Kasi na mali kong ad. Or ako ang nagkamali or ang inyong answer ang mali?
Sa anong ISIS, ma'am?
Yes, Jamuel?
Sa nami na ako'y reference na nga video, ma'am. Ang naay murag rule ata to siya, ma'am, nga dapat pag S ug D daw magkasunod, ma'am, dapat dili daw ay dapat kumpleto daw si D. So bawasan na lang daw si S ug isa.
Okay.
Kung 5S1 for D10 siya. Mo itong nakita na ako sa video ko.
Okay. Actually, we really do that one, no? Na pag magkasunod si S and si D, we need to complete the D. But for the sake of kanang locating our elements in the periodic table.
Ma'am, nawala po ang audio niyo, ma'am.
Asa nawala? Nga naman eh. Actually, my screen is not really whole now. I don't have the chat. I cannot open my cam. Wala tanan ng button diri. And wingon lang siya kalit og the internet is unstable. Okay. Again, actually, Gemwell, we really do that na the S and the D magkasunod, we will be completing the D. Okay, so like 4d10 and then we'll just subtract an electron from the S. But if we like follow the rules na pasunod yun siya, And para malocate nato ang atuang elements based in the orientation of their electrons, we will be using this one. Ito ha, itong sinulat ko. Okay? So, again, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6, 5s2, and lastly, we have the 4d9. Okay? And then, wait, lobat. Patay siya. Ayan. Now, looking at that, we will be predicting the quantum numbers here. So again, we will be following the rules na i-follow na lang talaga natin yung ating electron configuration na arrangement. We will be predicting the n. The n here, take note, yung pinakamalaki. So it doesn't matter kung nasa last siya or nasa gitna siya, basta pinakamalaki. And that is the 5. So this should be 5 here, class. It should not be 4. And then our ending, starting with the angular quantum number, our ending here is D. The subshell is D, and D is represented with the number 2. Okay, so this is 2 here, so this is correct. But for the magnetic quantum number, this is D, right? And you have to fill in 5 orbitals for this. Starting with 0 at the center. Ayan. And then, we have 9, so we will be filling 9 electrons here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and wait lang. Let me change my pen. 9. Ay, hindi siya maklaro. But anyway, the violet one, class, is the last electron. So this is positive 1. So nasa, ano siya, nasa positive 1 siya na orbital, and it's going down. So this is negative 1/2. So this is also correct. So these are the answers for the silver. Now for the sake again of locating silver, kaya ito yung gagamitin natin na electron configuration. The silver is actually found here sa center sa periodic table, sa transition metals. It's on the 5th, okay? It's on the 5th period. It's on the 5th period, and most likely if this is D10 here, the D9 is somewhere here. Silver is most likely found here. That's gamay kay 6th and 7th days. So silver is found here sa center sa transition metals. So questions for number 5? Anyone? Wala. So let us move on. Daghanon jud kay example hangtod masabtan no para dili makalimot. I hope sa quiz or sa exam dili ninyo siya makalimtan. Okay. So this one, actually may pinagkaiba dito. Bakit? Number 6 has a charge. Anong ibig sabihin pag may charge? Either may nabawas or may na-add na electrons. So supposedly, sodium has 11 electrons kasi dapat pantay sila ni protons, right? Pag neutral, pag wala siyang charge. Pero sabi dito, may charge si sodium, which means naging ion siya and nag-lose siya ng electron. Mas marami daw ng isa ang kanyang proton, kaya positive 1, which means ang naiwan na lang na electron ni sodium ay 10. And yan yung gagawan nyo class ng electron configuration. Again, ito yung gagawan natin ng electron configuration kasi ang given merong charge. So 10 lang yung quota natin. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. So again, yan yung ating, ito lang, no need to write the 3s1 because again, this is already an ion. So nag-lose na siya ng electron. So for the n, this is 2. Ito yung susundin natin ang electron configuration. Ang angular quantum number natin, ang ending niya ngayon ay P. So this is 1. Remember, P is 1. And then for the magnetic quantum number niya, you have how many? This is P, right? So tatlo. 1, 2, 3. So this is 0, positive 1, negative 1. And then we will fill in all the 6 electrons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the last electron is found sa positive 1 and it's going down. So the spin is negative 1/2. That is what you will do if the given has a charge or meron siyang or ion siya, meron siyang charge. Bawasan nyo or dagdagan nyo yung electron niya based sa charge niya. Kasi naging ion na siya, so mag-iiba yung kanyang electron configuration and mag-iiba din ang kanyang sets of quantum numbers. Kasi nag-iiba na yung distribution ng kanyang electron pag naging ion na siya. So I hope that is clear. Questions? Wala? So I think dito kayo nagkamali kasi I think nakalimutan yung isama si ion. Nakalimutan yung isama yung charge niya dyan. Ay, hindi nalagay ko makamove. Okay? Sobra noon. Wait lang. I think that's the last one. Okay, that's the last one. Questions? Again, pag merong charge class, please adjust the number of electrons based on the number of charge niya. So, meron tayong mga laws and principles being applied in quantum numbers. The first one is Pauli's exclusion principle. According to Pauli, hindi pwede na yung ating mga elements have the same sets of quantum number. Hindi pwede. Magkaiba talaga sila ng quantum numbers class. Pwede na magkapareha sila ng principal, ng angular, and even the magnetic. Pero magkaiba talaga sila pagdating sa spin. Okay? So again, hindi pwedeng the elements have the same set of quantum numbers. And at the same time, it was actually also Pauli who stated that an orbital can hold 2 electrons. So kaya yung nagdodraw tayo ng mga boxes class, 2 electrons lang talaga ang bawat box. That's orbital, ha? This is an orbital. And that these 2 electrons spin in 2 different directions. So the other one will spin upward and the other one will spin downward. So the spin up is actually positive 1/2 and the other one, the spin down, is negative 1/2. That is according to Pauli. We call it Pauli's exclusion principle. Then, excuse me, wala na siya ni move. Why? Wala. What can you see on the screen? Can you tell me what can you see sa screen?
Yung police.
Okay, wait lang ha kay. Your internet connection is unstable. Nga naman eh. That's ako ani. So, gabal kayo siya sa pagklase today. Hindi na siya mag-move. Adrian, can you move the slide pagkahuman sa Pauli? Okay, thank you. Okay, now the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So these are people, these principles are actually named after those people na nag-coin ng mga concepts na ito, mga principles na ito. So from the name itself, Heisenberg's uncertainty, take note of the word uncertainty principle. So according to this, actually, it is impossible to really know the exact location of the electrons in the atom. So meron tayong mga predictions, like we have the quantum numbers, yung spin up and spin down, pero actually in reality, we cannot really determine the exact location of this electron. So there is an inherent uncertainty in the act of measuring a variable of a particles. So in a quantum mechanics, no measurement can be taken at the same time. It was believed that it is taken simultaneously. But para mas madali masabtan ang Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, ingon lang niya, it is impossible for us to know the exact location and momentum of these electrons in reality. So the measurements should be done simultaneously. Dili nimo siya pwede gyud na isa-isahon. Wait lang. Can you move the slide, Adrian? Dili gyapon ako siya ma-move. And then the off-bow building up principle. Actually, when I learn these principles, may mga tinatandaan ng ako like off-bow principle. Off-bow, parang bow and arrow, diba? When you have bow and arrow, if you release the arrow, it will really like go padulong sa certain distance, or it can go upward. Pag ginaisip na ko si off-bow principle, ang ako lang ginahinumduman that the ground state of an atom or the electron should feel first the lower energy shell before niya mag-feel ang higher energy shell. Ana po kapag mag-release ka og diba? Arrow. So it's going upward. Ang pinakataas nga energy shell, unya pa sila i-feel pag ma-feel na nimo ang lower energy shell. Mao na ang ato ang ginasunod sa electron configuration. It's that na pag-ingon ka 1s, that's the lowest energy shell. So siya gid na pirmi ang i-fill in first with the electron and then going up. So ang pagkahuman sa 1s, ang sunod nga energy shell will be 2s and then 2p, pero mobalik ka og 3s. So bisag s pa na siya class, pero it's considered a higher energy shell compared to the 2p. So mauna og ka-fill in si 2p kaysa kay 3s. Unang dili sila pasunod nga 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s hangtod 7s. Nya usa pa ka mag 2p. No, dili nga na. Depende siya sa energy sa ato ang mga orbitals or sa ato ang mga electron shells. That's according to off-bow principle. So muna nga ingana ang arrangement sa electron configuration. Okay, next, please. I think the last one is the Hund's rule. Tama? Yeah, that's the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Actually, if naga-remember ko Hund's rule class, I'm actually thinking of my hands. I have 2 hands. So, ang akong ma-remember sa Hund's rule, since I have 2 hands, ang orbital daw will fill singly first before sila mag-double. Before nimo sila i-double og fill. So, na kung maglibog na ko, asa na si off-bow, asa na si, unsa na ang ginaingon ni Heisenberg. Ang sa Hund's rule, dili jud ko maglibog ani. It's referring into single na feeling first before doubling, because I have like 2 hands. So muna siyang ako ang way mag-remember sa mga principles. So again, Hund's rule states that electron configuration, the term with maximum multiplicity falls lowest in energy, pero actually this principle states that each orbital is occupied singly first before nimo siya i-double. Mao gina ang pinaka gina-emphasize sa Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So the electrons present in singly occupied orbitals possess identical spin. Muna kagaina nag-draw ko pag Example, I have 3 orbitals here, and then I have 6 electrons. Isa-isa sa, pero the same spin sila tanan. Pasaka sila tanan. Before ka mag-pair,
Putol-putol po.
oh, wait. Okay, again. So, sa Hund's rule class, bengon ko, isa-isa first bawat orbital, pero the electrons are the same spin, so pasaka sila tanan before ka mag-pair, pero ang pag-pair pud nimo ang mga ikaduhang electrons is parehas pud ilang spin, pababa pud sila tanan. Again, that is according to the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. This is the last one, right? Ang last ito na concept or na principle. Wala na. Conclusion na ang next, no, Adrian? Tama. Yeah, conclusion. Okay, so I think that ends the activity number 7. Do you have questions, class? Pwede ka na mag-unshare, Adrian. Again, do you have questions? I want to clarify something about our electron configuration and our quantum numbers. Wala na.